Hello, welcome to Her Journey Home. I'm your host, Sophia Noel Graniella. My mission here is simple: to hold space for honest stories and conversations that are usually left unsaid. This podcast is for the women in seasons of becoming, rebuilding their lives, reclaiming their voice, and remembering who they were before the world told them who to be. So come as you are, and let's begin the journey home together. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Her Journey Home. We are in season 2, and I have some of the most incredible women coming to join me on the podcast this season. You are all going to be so excited and so blessed. So today I have Amanda, and she's absolutely incredible. She is a teacher of energy healing. She's also a channel, and she was actually my teacher. I was in her intuitive healing program, which was so powerful. And I can't wait to have this conversation today. So, welcome, Amanda, to Her Journey Home.
Hey everyone. Hey Sophia. I'm so excited to have this conversation too.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. I was saying to you before this episode started, I feel like I lived 20 lives in 2025. And to finally sit down and be able to have this conversation with you is so exciting.
Yeah, I completely agree. And something I think is going to come up a lot in this episode is that when we say yes to the intuitive path, it doesn't always mean that things are rainbows and butterflies, especially like in 2025. Like I feel like most people experienced a crumbling and it doesn't mean that anything's wrong. And I have been so proud of watching you, and I've been so thankful to get to be your friend. Everything you're creating is so amazing, and you're just such an incredible woman, and I can't wait to dive into.
Oh my gosh, I'm just taking a moment to really take that in because it means so, so much to me. And I feel so honored to have you on the podcast. Right when I was scheduling season 2, I'm like, I need Amanda to come on and share her gifts and her wisdom. And you're such a gifted healer, truly. Like being in your presence is one of the most powerful things anyone can experience. And so, to really get this episode started, I want to hear about your own awakening journey. Like, what was that awakening for you that led you to really trusting your intuitive and your psychic abilities? Did you know you had these gifts? Like, give us all the tea.
Right now, just so everyone knows, I work as a full channel. I do a lot of channeling and healing work, and my identity, as my friends and my family know it now, is like the super spiritual person. And a lot of people assume that as a child, it's like, oh, you must have had all these super spiritual experiences. And I was like, no, I was just playing outside. But I will say that I constantly felt so much energetically, somatically, of the emotions of others around me. Um, I think that many people that are born to be healers choose families where there's a lot to alchemize. And so within my own body, there was a lot of generational trauma that needed to come out. And in my own life, I manifested a lot of harder situations. And so I was so highly sensitive and so dysregulated that what happened is I lived my 20s were actually pretty hard. I struggled a lot with my health, my hormones,
Mm.
and all of it was the result of being so highly sensitive and not having the tools to regulate that and understand that. And then what happened for me is right around my Saturn return, I think it was literally my 28th birthday, which is when it starts. I went through a really significant breakup, and now I have so much love and appreciation for that because it was so obviously the initiation of my life. Like if that hadn't happened, I would not be who I am, which when I say that, I wouldn't be myself at all. That breakup pushed me into a psychic and spiritual awakening more than I had ever known before. So I had experiences of sensing energy. I had experiences of prophetic dreams, but I didn't understand it. I was just drowning in the weight of my own energy. When I went through that breakup, what happened is my nervous system went through a complete shutdown. And in that, that is actually what opened my gifts. I had so much shame around that because I mean, when I was like healing and trying to figure myself out, I would just look on social media and you see all these healers that they just look like such perfect people. And I was like, what do you mean that like my gifts came from like what I thought was the worst thing that could ever happen?
Mm.
Um, But my nervous system was so in shock after that experience that my gifts like opened more. And it
Wow.
was a really confusing time, actually, but I learned so much.
Thank you so much for taking us all the way back. I love the details because it really helps whoever's listening today to understand just everything that's transformed and your gifts and how it actually came to the surface. And it's really interesting you mentioned that because I do feel like a lot of us end up really tapping into the things we're meant to do when we hit that low point in our life. And
Yeah.
it's like the things that are really, really difficult, the struggles, the challenges actually awaken something within us that brings our truth to the surface. And all of a sudden, it's like, whoa,
Mhm.
I need to share this with the world. I need to tap more into this. I need to help change other people's lives and make an impact. So it makes perfect sense that your gifts opened up more after the breakup and after you went through that challenging time.
I always tell I attract a lot of people who are meant to be healers but haven't
Mhm.
really learned to embody their gifts yet. And so many of them, their biggest block is always like, but I have such a hard journey and my journey hasn't made
Mm.
sense. And I always want to say, I'm like, how do you think that Source, Spirit, God will teach you about healing if you don't have to heal yourself? Like, how are you going to
Exactly.
know? You have, like, literally, you're in school in your own
Yeah.
journey to alchemize and then share with other people. And often, like us who are meant to be in service, the journeys are like harder for that very reason.
Wow. Oh my gosh. The way you just described that, like it just clicked for me. It's like you're in school, literally. And it's like, how are you supposed to learn any of this
To lead
if you
others,
don't go through those challenging times? So,
100%.
wow. And I really want to know too, like, what is your take on the deeper importance of intuition or the purpose of intuition? Like, not just in your daily life, but let's say in entrepreneurship or having a soul-led service or business.
So I live in Denver and there's a very large spiritual network in Denver. So I'm around all types of people that are awakening and growing, and I see a lot of different like stages of the awakening journey. And I'm gonna call it stage one, okay? Where we're like seeing 111,
Yep.
we're getting crystals, we feel aligned, and we really believe in this stage that the point of awakening to your intuition is to like help lead you to abundance or like help lead
Hmm.
you to the things that you want. I mean, that is true, and it can only go so far, but it's like when you become an antenna for a higher source of information, which is your intuition, at first it's used for little things like I don't know, helping you get the house that you want or
Mm.
manifest the partner you want or something. But once that intuition and that channel is fully established, do you really think that the entire realm of like angels, spirit, all of the forces of the light that want to help our planet and humanity are going to let you stop at like the cute jeans that you want? Like,
So
no, they're going
true.
to use that channel to be like, okay, there's people in your community that need this. There's people that need
Oh,
this. You're meant to unlock this. So, um, the point of intuition is so much deeper than like just the surface level of manifesting what you want. It's more that as you establish that channel of intuition, you become like an anchor point for higher frequency things to drop into on our planet. And when I was just awakening to my intuition, I thought my mission was to like work as an energy healer. Really, like I just thought it was cool. And I was like, this is going to be how I express my gifts.
mhm.
And as I open my intuition and my channel more, the mission is actually to teach hundreds of people to do this, which is a much bigger calling that I would not have chosen or known
Mm.
myself if I didn't learn to truly like ask and listen for the answer. Does that make sense?
Wow. Absolutely. It's like something so much bigger than you.
Bigger than you, so much bigger.
Wow. So I'm really curious, like if someone's listening to this right now and they're maybe in that angel number stage and they're really wanting to tap into that higher calling and they're wanting to impact the world, what would you say like those next steps are for them to really start to open and connect with their true gifts?
So I think that when we're operating in our true gifts, which are always in love, humility, and service, I teach a lot of work from like the crown chakra and opening like
Mm.
your third eye and your spiritual gifts. But what happens when someone's really like ready to be of service is their heart chakra becomes
Mm.
so potently online. And so what I honestly would say is the most potent spiritual practice we can even do is placing hands on the heart and closing the eyes and just asking, like, love, what would you have me do?
Mm.
Love, who would you have me be? And whether you're serving one client or 50 million clients, or whether there's one person listening on the podcast or 10,000 people listening, like it's not about the numbers. It's about being a vessel for love to move through. I really believe like that's the whole point of awakening. Like it's not, what else would it be for? Like that's the only end destination. Does that make sense?
Yes. Oh, you said love, and I just got full body goosebumps because it really is. It's not about the numbers. Like, even with my podcast, it was never about the numbers for me. It was always about how can I touch someone today? How can I speak to their heart? How can I make a bigger impact than me? Right. And so I love that so much of just like closing your eyes and really connecting in deeper with the heart. That's so beautiful.
Mhm.
Wow.
I think we've talked a little about this, but I'm a part of like so many entrepreneurial networks, and
Yeah.
it makes me sad that us like light workers, healers, people who want to help, we get so lost in it's like our business will grow. Don't get me wrong, and the more
Yeah.
I've tuned in to my like real calling, it has grown so much more, but to never lose sight of that as
Yeah.
that's the whole point of all of this.
I could not agree more. And I hope for anyone listening that's like on their entrepreneurial path or starting a business, do it because you are so called to it and you love doing what you do. And it brings you so much energy and light and love. And then spread that to
Mhm.
everyone that you're touching. And that leads into my next question so perfectly. But I want to know too, I know that you said that your business didn't always click in the beginning, right? Like it didn't fully click. What shifted internally and externally or energetically that made things finally fall into place and click?
Okay, I'm so curious if you have aligned experiences with this, but when I really started doing this work and I was experiencing myself as a gifted healer and I was a new healer and different people were saying like that was the best healing I've ever had. You read and I was like,
Mm,
whoa, I actually think I'm good at this. And then I saw different examples of different teachers and I would think like I think I'm going to be a teacher one day. And I'm so intuitive. So I kind of experience the world like I always kind of have one foot in the future because I'm always kind of seeing what's coming. That I just kind of assumed that like, okay, I know my calling, like I'm ready, it's going to be successful. And it wasn't. Like I had years where I barely made any money. I had years where it really, I was like, oh my God, is this ever going to work? And um I think that I really like jumped ahead because my spirit knew like you are going to do this, that this is what's happening. I kind of forgot that like I have to like learn the skills and like I forgot that there's like a lapse of time. Does that make sense?
oh my gosh, yes.
And I like when I look back at myself 2 years ago and I was doing sessions with people and I was ready for like the high income months and I was ready for the recognition. I wanted it. I thought I was ready. And it's like I think it's a like genuinely trusting the untiming, the unfolding to the timing because it's like if you know in your heart you're meant to do this, you will do it. And you just
Yeah.
kind of have to trust the unfolding and not get down on yourself just because you're intuitive and you half know what's coming. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I'm so glad we're talking about this because even today, this exact thing kept replaying in my mind of how we're always looking at other people on their journeys. And sometimes we're comparing our year 1 to someone's year 10, and
Yep.
we're looking at like the big following and we're looking at the success and like the overnight successes and all these things. And we start to question our own gifts and we start to look at our life and we're like, well, it's not happening for me and it's taking so long. And mind you, like I'm only going into year 2 of business and year 2 of podcasting. And last year was truly, like you said, like so many just pivots and navigating and thinking like, oh, I'm so ready for this. I know what my calling is. I know what I want to teach and offer the world. And now I'm going into 2026 and I'm going on a whole new path. Like I'm currently just like in a little bit of a pivot and rebrand and coming back to like my truth and leaning into my natural gifts. And the woman a year, 2 years ago who said she was ready and like, okay, I'm ready to do this. She
Mhm.
wasn't. She was just learning. And honestly, like starting a business is such a big personal development journey. And so I'm so glad you brought that up because I can guarantee someone listening to this like needs that reassurance and that permission slip of like, you're not behind. Do
Yes.
not doubt yourself. If you know in every part of your being, like, this is what I am meant to do. And I am meant to share my voice and I'm meant to make an impact. But that doesn't mean it's just going to unfold so easily and just like happen and click into place overnight. So thank you for bringing that up because I need more women to understand that it looks different for everyone.
I think too, like when we work in the healing spaces or the spaces of transformation, like something that I was told once by a mentor is you can never forget the privilege it is to witness someone's soul. Like I I have so much experience with manifesting, affirming, like conscious creation. I was so ready. I was like, I'm expanded. I'm gonna jump off this cliff and I'm gonna make all this money and I'm gonna be so successful. I thought it was coming, like I felt it coming. And I spent a whole year barely making enough money to get by and often barely having enough for rent. Like it was such a buzzkill and not at all what I thought was happening.
Mhm.
And I always pray and ask for guidance around why did that happen, Spirit? Why did you let that happen to me? And I don't know for sure, but what I deeply feel in my heart is like what my intuition, Spirit says back to me is I had to make you not dependent on the money so that now I know that when my bank account is lower than when I'm not successful, I still know my gifts. I still
Mm.
know my calling. I am not dependent on that number on the screen to tell me that I am made for this. I know I'm made for this no
Oof.
matter what, no matter who doesn't believe in me. And I really feel like that year was a gift to show me that you are who you are. You are Amanda. You are a healer, whether or not the money comes. So now you're not dependent on it. And now I, Spirit, can gift you with more.
Full body chills. Like
I
literally
know, it's so
I
beautiful.
can feel chills on my toes. I don't know if
It's
that's ever
so
happened to me before.
beautiful. I
Like
do believe that's the truth. Yes.
that is so freaking beautiful. Like that is going to touch someone so deeply today that's listening to this episode. Amanda, thank you for sharing that. Like it is so much bigger than you. And when you fully can look back and be like, wow, that shaped me into the woman that's sitting here speaking on this podcast today. And that time was so challenging. And it really was just like, wow, like it tested me so deeply.
Mhm.
But now I know, even when my bank account is not where I want it to be, it doesn't change my worth. It doesn't change who I am. It doesn't change my gifts. Like, this is still my path and what I'm meant to share with the world. And so, for anyone listening, like, please keep going. If you know in your heart, like, this is your path, it is on your heart for a reason. Like, you were literally born to put this out into the world. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. So I'm also really curious too, like for someone, and we kind of mentioned this before, like if someone is kind of just starting their intuitive healing journey, right? And they're starting to tap into their gifts. I know you mentioned connecting in with the heart chakra and really just connecting in with love. But what are some other ways that people can start building trust and
Mhm.
a real relationship with that inner knowing? Because I know in the beginning, I was always like, okay, but is this my intuition or is this just anxiety or fear or something else speaking? Like, how do you really start to cultivate that trust with your intuition?
I am so intuitive, and when I'm stressed or anxious, it is so hard for me, like everybody else. So I think
Mm.
number one thing is regulate the body. And
Mhm.
I kind of know now that when I'm in an unregulated state, like it's not the time to ask
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
intuition. But once, like my favorite thing is just ask it for the very smallest questions. So put your hand on your heart and just ask, would it be better for my digestion to have these vegetables or these vegetables? And just see where
Mm.
you're literally guided. Or one of my favorite things, I do this literally every time I park. I live in the city of Denver and it's often hard to find parking. I'll literally close my eyes and ask, which direction is the parking spot? And I'll like get a nudge. Or I often try to test my intuition with small things. So let's say I'm hosting an event or even like a girls' night, if you don't do events, like put your hand on your heart and ask how many women will be there and just see what number you get and just start playing with your intuition for very low stakes things. And you'll notice there's a certain way the energy moves through you. There's a certain way you get the answer. And then that makes it so much easier to trust when it's, do I want to leave this person or stay? Do I want to quit this job or stay? That makes it a lot easier to know the answer.
Okay, that's so helpful because I know even still there's some days where I'm like, okay, like I'm a
100%.
lot more trusting now with my intuition where I'm like, okay, this is like a full body, like this
Hmm.
goes through me and I'm like, this is my intuition. But there's still some times where I kind of wobble between. I'm like, okay, is this just fear and like FOMO and like, okay, I got to make this decision now? And something else I also noticed, and tell me if this is true, but I noticed that with intuition, it's like this calm, grounded presence
Yes.
for the most part, where I'm just like, oh, okay. And it's calm, but it's like I know that it's true and I can just feel it. Whereas when I'm making a decision of like fear, anxiety, and I sometimes can get a little confused, it's like this like right now
Yes.
energy where I feel a little bit frantic and I need to make a decision quickly.
Okay, so I've gotten so good at using my intuition for things. Like I use it for everything,
Yeah.
every single choice, whether it's like what outfit to wear, what shoes would look best with this, like what should I do in my business? Like it's I channel it all. But where I've really actually gotten stuck this year is because I'm so used to getting the answer for everything. Whenever there's not a clear answer, I kind of forgot that it's like, oh yeah, I'm the creator of my reality and I get to pick here. You know what I mean? And so I would also say for the women like learning to trust their intuition that if you're not sure, to just like bet on yourself and make the choice and assume it's the right choice and assume the universe will back you up to support you in that choice. Um, Something that I actually feel like I'm like late in learning is like navigating the dichotomy of like being intuitive and receiving guidance and also choosing and being like I'm actually choosing this for myself too. Does that make sense?
100%. Absolutely. And it's like those little moments. I'm glad that you mentioned lower stakes. It's like choose something and decide and be so sure about that, even if it's like you're learning to trust yourself because those little moments where you're actually just making that choice and you're grounded will build that self-trust within yourself
Absolutely.
regardless.
Absolutely. And if
And
it's
then like with
really
time, you'll know.
and if it's like really against your intuition, you'll also know.
Yes.
There will be something that screams. It's like no, and you're like safe to make a
Yes.
mistake, you know?
And you're truly always being guided. Like that's what I've realized is like if something is not meant for you, like something will come in to stop that, or you'll
Mhm.
get information or you'll feel it in your body. Like there will always be something.
Yes.
And I'm just a firm believer, like as cliche as it is, like whatever is meant for you will never pass you. And so just trust those little decisions, truly.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, this conversation just gets me so excited because I know intuition is something that people are really trying to hone in on and tap more into and really be able to trust themselves. Okay, so Amanda, I love to wrap up all these episodes with what is one powerful message that you want every single listener to walk away with today?
I feel that as a deeply intuitive person, I grew up feeling not different as in like a gifted type of different, but different as in just like kind of strange or kind of like I just didn't know where I fit in. And so much of my healing journey and even my journey in business was learning to just accept like God made me perfect.
Mm.
I've always been perfect. I was perfect then, now, then, and now. And my wish is for those women who are multi-passionate, multi-creative, intuitive, maybe they're psychic, maybe they're not, maybe they're meant to be a healer, whoever's listening here, to just accept that you are perfect and you have always been. And it's not really a game of changing yourself or fixing yourself. It's more of a game of accepting your true nature and allowing that
Mm.
true nature to flourish with the gifts and the abilities that you have and can develop in this life. And so just know that you're absolutely 100% perfect as you are.
I don't think I've ever gotten chills this many times during an episode, Amanda. Like, I'm not even kidding. This
But
was such a beautiful gift having you on the podcast. And that last message that you sent to all the listeners really hit exactly what her journey home is all about. It is coming home to who you have always been, like who you were before the world told you who to be, who you were before you learned that your beautiful gifts and the things that you were born with were quote unquote wrong or not good enough or not right or imperfect, like all the bullshit that we've picked up as a society in our childhood. And like I was always told I was too much growing up. And so I took that on as truth and I just quieted my voice and I didn't share myself and I didn't think that my voice mattered. And I want every single person to truly listen to every single thing that Amanda just said and take that and create the most incredible, magical, beautiful life because you are perfect just the way that you are, truly.
I wanted to say one more thing about developing your psychic abilities and gifts, and it also ties into my last comment on you, Sophia. So I teach students now to open their abilities, their gifts, their intuition, and it breaks my heart that there's even competition in that space because
Mm.
everyone's gifts open in their own unique timing, and it's an intelligence so far beyond what our minds and me as a teacher even can conceive. And something that's been coming online for me in the last like year or so with my gifts is the ability to actually look at a leader and kind of see where they're meant to go. And
Mm.
I know that that's spirit helping me know it's like I'm meant to train leaders and to help leaders become more of themselves. But I just want to say, Sophia, like I have so much faith in what you're
Mhm.
building. And for anyone who's been listening and has been thinking about going on a retreat or working with Sophia, like Sophia is such a powerhouse and such a gentle force of nature at the same time. And
Mm.
I have no doubt in what you're building that you will hold space for many, many, many people and touch the lives of hundreds of people. And it's not really a matter of if, it's just a matter of when and the journey that unfolds into that space. And so I just wanted to give my most full recommendation for you as a healer, as an intuitive, as a facilitator. And I've your retreats look so fun, and I have to come, and everybody who's listening has to come too. We're
Please. Oh
we're
my
all
goodness, Amanda, like I have tears in my eyes. Genuinely, thank you from the bottom of my heart for the words. Like, wow. I'm just taking that all in and I'm so grateful that you are on her journey home. Like every single woman that's listening is so incredibly blessed to be in your presence and to have your words touch their souls and their hearts. And you've changed my life. Like just getting to meet you and, like I said, being in your presence and your spaces has been such a deep, deep, deep honor. And actually, for anyone listening, my retreat, Uncaged, is actually, it was supposed to be in April, but there has been a lot of life transitions and things happening. And I've actually decided to move the dates to November. So, Amanda and anyone listening, if you're able to join, please come. It is going to be an inner child's playgrounds, like where we get to just run free and express ourselves and connect with other incredible, powerful women that are ready to share their stories and use their voices. And it's just going to be such a magical, magical time to come home to who we truly are. And also, that leaves me with one last question for you too, Amanda. Where can people get into your world? Like, I know you're building an energy school. Like, tell us more about your offers and where can they connect with you?
So the people who are best meant to work with me are those who are on a very deep journey of inner healing and or wanting to develop their intuitive gifts themselves. I train students in Reiki and a modality called intuitive healing. Intuitive healing, that program is beginning in March of 2026. And it's called Leaders in Light, and it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful space to awaken your abilities and gifts and grow as a healer and leader. But I mostly am on Instagram. It's at Amanda Tarrell. You can find it, I'm sure, on Sophia's page. And I've also been really into Substack lately too, with the same name.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, as I mentioned in the very, very beginning when I introduced Amanda, I was in her intuitive healing program. So if you are wanting to really tap into your intuitive gifts, I recommend Amanda more than I can even begin to put into words. So please, please reach out to her, start to explore what she has to offer, get into her Substack. And oh my gosh, Amanda, thank you so, so, so much for being on her journey home. I hope to have another conversation with you very soon. And yeah, just thank you. This
I,
was incredible.
I feel like my whole day is made from this conversation. I'm
Me
like, wow.
too.
I'm like, me and
I'm just,
Sophia had the best combo.
I just feel like I am on such a high. And I promise whoever's listening to this conversation today probably feels the same. And for anyone listening, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Her Journey Home. Please go ahead and rate, subscribe, share the podcast with your beautiful community. And I will see you for another episode next Thursday.
Thanks, guys. See you.
Bye.